Okay, so we're live. So what I'm going to, I've set up a diploma of management. I think it is in Skillsbook that we can have a look and a play around with, and I've set both of you up with administrator accounts, so you can play. And you should have received an email inviting you to Skillsbook. I can resend it afterwards if it's gone into spam or something like that. But the process that I've set up, or the RPL process that we follow in Skillsbook is the skills first methodology that was devised in Queensland. So it starts with a self-assessment, which is a can I do I have, and do I have the specific evidence? And then depending upon the responses to that self-assessment, a next layer of assessment sort of unpeels. So if I say I have a particular item of evidence that's required, then and I want to proceed for RPL, then the next layer down will say, well, go on, then load it up. And if I say I have the knowledge, we then go into knowledge testing, and so on and so forth. So the first two blocks that you see here are really predominantly driven by the candidate themselves and what they have to present. And then the final bit is after the assessor has reviewed the documentation, quizzes, and all the rest of it, we click a button and all of the gaps are revealed, and that forms part of the competency conversation and the end of the RPL process. So what I'll show you first is the administrator or the back end view in Skillsbook to show how I've put the course together. So here we have this is the RTO view, if you like, and we have a course called Diploma of Management. Everything to do with the course or everything to do with the student all happens under a drop-down box of various actions. So I'm going to go in and look at edit that course. This is the build process I'm taking you through now. So we go give it a name. There's a whole pile of different items that we switch on and off, which sets up the training and assessment strategy. I've already done that, so I won't go into this. And then we choose the qualification, and already done that. We switch on our units, and we have a little validator at the top, so we just go through, pick the units we want to put into the course. I haven't matched your offering or anything. I've just put in some units that I happen to have a pile of assessment questions for, and I've imported some units so we can basically build an offering from anywhere across training.gov.au that fits your scope. So as soon as that the whole thing is restricted to your scope, and you can build courses from anywhere. So as we switch things on, you can see we've got more than the required units sitting in this offering. So it's a over compliant course, if you like. So we've picked our units. And then we go into the three different assessment methods. So there's evidence, there's tasks, and quizzes. And the evidence section we can build in numerous different ways. I can simply type in some evidence straight into this box, put it in a group and add and then map it. I can pick evidence specifically from an item. So if I was to go and choose this and add it, then automatically the source content is mapped, so we know exactly where that evidence is coming from. and I can go and edit this content and then add it to the list. Or I can do which is what I did in the first place. I can do the really nice lazy option, which is I click an auto evidence and choose what part of the evidence statement I want to automatically populate. And when I click that button, it'll drop every unit by unit. It'll drop the critical aspects critical aspects of evidence for each unit, and then I can go and amend them and check them. So what we have here is an evidence requirement that I've built into the process, built into the system using exactly that process, and I've grouped them into created a group for each unit, and they're automatically mapped back to the source unit of competency. So that's how I've built the evidence. Feel free to ask questions as we go through.
I've just got a couple of quick ones.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the qualifications and units are limited to our approved scope.
Yeah.
What if we wanted a couple of units that are imported from another training package that's not reflected in our scope?
That's well, when I say that it's reflected in scope, in fact, you have access to everything, but it'll just flag what's on your scope and what's not on your scope. So you can actually, so it's really just a what's the word?
Shortcut.
Really just a shortcut. Yeah, and also to avoid you putting up qualifications that aren't actually on your scope. You can, but in a sense, you have access to absolutely everything, and you can import. Obviously, you can import when you import a unit that doesn't restrict your scope, because you are legitimately allowed to pull units from elsewhere under implied scope. So it actually doesn't make a lot of difference other than being a shortcut, as you say.
The other one was in that sort of mapping screen.
Yeah.
All the performance criteria and competencies, that they're also all automatically pulled through from TGA.
Yeah. They are. So sitting underneath each of these. Okay, so we've got the elements, we've got the performance criteria, skills, knowledge, evidence. So the whole lot. So we use that base content across the system.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, and the other way of building evidence is to simply upload a list via CSV. Okay, so that's the evidence bit, and in a sense each section follows the same process. So the next bit is tasks, and this might seem a little bit strange for a diploma of management, but this is more taking RPL into RCC. So where a candidate wants to apply for RPL, but they actually don't have all of the evidence, then we have an additional assessment item that we can get them to log certain things when they're doing it at work, and include their supervisor or workplace supervisor in to validate that they are actually performing the tasks. So this is again similar. We've got we can copy individual detail. We can, as I did, we automatically create the unit titles and elements. So and we can obviously change how many times certain things we're asking to be submitted. So sitting underneath each of these tasks, which of course should be written in workplace language, not unit language, we have a whole pile of sort of subtasks sitting under those, which are of course the elements. We can add extras by simply typing in there. We can edit, and so on and so forth. So it's just another layer of assessment to enable a candidate to proceed if they don't actually have all of the required evidence, but works in the same way as the way we built evidence. And we can ask the supervisor for all sorts of different feedback. Obviously, in an apprenticeship type setting, such things as worked well in a team, met environmental standards, workplace health and safety standards, etc., etc. So it's a live logbook of skills and competency progress. So that's another layer that we've built in, and so that's evidence, tasks. The third bit is the fairly standard knowledge questions. So I just sort of happen to have a whole pile of questions around these units, which is why I built the course around these units. So we have a quiz for each unit, and as you can see, three questions. There's a whole array of different ways of putting quizzes into this system. At one level, we can simply create an API and feed automatically from your learning management system into this. We can import via a CSV upload, or we can author quizzes within Skillsbook itself. And I guess, as you'd expect, there's everything from scenario quizzes to checklists to essay questions, multiple choice, true, false, etc., etc. So that's the 16 here relate to the secondary layer of knowledge questions. So after a self-assessment, if somebody says, look, I know all about this, then you go in and test that knowledge. And right down at the bottom is a self-assessment, 3 self-assessment questions. And again, I've created those. I can only do it once, but I've created that by clicking a button. And what it does is, for each unit, it automatically generates 3 checklists. Do you know? And it'll pull all of the knowledge statements from the unit. Do you have? And it'll populate that critical aspect of evidence. So do you actually have that specific documentation that we require? And can you do? Which are the skills from the unit. So that's automatically created and mapped to the system. And then there's this little button here, a decision tool, which connects the self-assessment question with the subsequent layer of questions. So we'll see that in action when we go to look at the student view. So that's effectively the course created at a first draft sort of level. It's a matter of minutes to put the qualification together, but of course then going in and editing and amending the course to suit takes a little longer. And we can look at download the unit mapping, data mapping into a spreadsheet if the internet will behave itself. It's going slower. Oh no, here we go. All right.
So is there any provision for, I guess if a student wanted to use a unit that we don't have configured?
You'd have to, no, you have to actually have the course or the unit in your library, so to say, yep. and then it's offered. So if you have no offering, then the student can't do it. There's nothing to actually connect with.
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah, our courses are all set up standard anyway, so that wouldn't be a case for us, I don't think, Ben.
Just making this a bit bigger so we can. Okay, so this is just the top level top level mapping. I'll just get to a. Okay, let's just. It's quite a large spreadsheet, this one. Okay, so it just shows the unit and then what items relate to it. So we should have several items for each unit. So this one here, we have against this performance criteria, we have a self-assessment and then an evidence item, and so on and so forth. So all of that is just dynamically generated. So that's the course build process. One of the if you have enterprise clients, so one of the neat sort of features here is the ability to go and clone. So if we have a diploma of management for Hewlett Packard, or I don't know if they're a customer of yours, but I don't know why that came to mind either. But anyway, we go and clone that. We can pick all of the detail minus, say, a unit. And we can bring all of that content that we've created, bring all of that across, and in a matter of 2 seconds, we have a course specifically for that particular enterprise customer, and we can go in and edit various items such as documentary evidence to totally reflect that workplace's offering. So that's the course build process. I'm going to go and look at it from the student side now. So is there any questions before we go there?
No, that looks fine.
Okay, so we have I've enrolled a mythical person, Barry Stanfield, into this course. And there's obviously the student receives an email, and you've just been enrolled in the course. They accept that and go in. I'm going to go in the back door, if you like, and go in from the RTO into the student's account, just to avoid going across browsers every 2 minutes. So sorry, wrong password. There we go. Okay, so I've actually been in here before, so this is the starting point with a self assessment. Okay, obviously there's a whole pile of instruction around what to do, and let's assume we've all read those. Okay, so I've gone in and done this, but let's have a look underneath each of these. So this is unit by unit. This is what it looks like. So the do you know, and these are the straight out of the unit of competency, the knowledge questions. The do you have, the critical aspect of evidence, and the can you do. And so by default, if I come down to one at the bottom, okay, so by default they're all switched on as no. So for the student, it's a case of going and ticking. So let's just and they save unit by unit or save all at the end. So we've got a couple I've just missed out, and some you can see I've ticked. So I'm going to submit that, and it's telling me once you're submitted, you can't go back. At the assessor side, there's you can unlock. You can get them to do it again and again, and you can set how many times you want that to happen. But classically, a single run at a self-assessment should be the go. So that's been submitted. I'm going to go back to look at the responses. Okay, should have a message in here to say Barry sent the self-assessment. Okay, and we've got, here it is down the bottom, and obviously everything's logged and tracked as it goes through the system. And then it's created this is the assessor screen looking at the responses from the student, and you can see over here in the red text, it's done a calculation of the chance of success of that candidate being able to proceed for RPL. The highest level of success is 80%. So if basically everything is answered yes, then it's 80%. If there are skills, if there are areas where they say, can you do, and they've answered no, then automatically their chance of success is zero, because if they can't actually do what they're wanting to RPL in, obviously they shouldn't be RPL'd in it, and the rest is calculated in between. So in this, we've set it up so the assessor is reviewing this. It can be set so the student can review and continue. But if we just pick a few units, I've also set it to ignore the packaging rule, but you can set it so it has to fit the packaging rule, or you have to have a minimum or maximum number of units. All of that's entirely configurable. So let's just pick 3, 4. Okay, that'll do us. Right.
In terms of the packaging rules, does it understand some of the more complex ones like engineering or electrical, which have points or weighted points sort of systems?
Well, yep, absolutely. And most of our public RTO customers are using it specifically in engineering to unpack all of those horrible prerequisites, co-requisites, duplicates, points. It's a prick of a package in
Yeah, it is.
technical language. Yeah, no, so absolutely it does, and that took years to get that right. So, yeah.
Good work.
Yeah, someone had to do it. Okay, so having chosen the units, I'll just go. We can build in whatever workflow you have in here, but we're just saying they've completed that, they've been enrolled, and they've paid. And once those are ticked, then you can see this little activate student pops up. Or if it's no good, we can unlock that self-assessment and get them to do it again. So once I activate the student, let's move it away. Okay, so that's locked away, and if I go back to the student now, and we should see a very, very different screen. So just like that. Okay, so it's got a little message to say it's been marked and reviewed. Okay, and now as you can see, we've moved beyond the self-assessment into evidence quizzes and tasks. So now we've just, rather than have 16 units, we're down to just the 5. So let's go in and have a look at one of these. So this. So we have, for this particular unit, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items of evidence that are pulled up from the critical aspects of evidence. This works on you upload a file and give it a description. It sits in the file library. So I'll just choose a file to upload, something that's not too ridiculous. That'll do. Not quite sure what it is, but okay. So sample file. Okay, so now sits in a library, and that file library concept continues across Skillsbook, so you can use the same evidence for multiple items if they're appropriate. But it's a case of picking the file and adding it against that unit. So I can use the same file multiple times, and anywhere I put a file in that lists in my library. So if I was to submit that, it'll lock that in place, effectively create a copy of this both on the assessor side and the student side. I can obviously send notes back and forth to my assessor, but that's how I upload evidence. So what we're trying to, the concept behind this is to avoid a shoebox being sent to the assessor to unravel, and we're actually getting the student to unravel exactly their file against the requirement of the unit. So I'll only do one. They all work the same way. So that's upload evidence. The quizzes, you can see it's paginating a bit strangely because I've got the screen blown up so you can see it, but we just have a whole. They're fairly standard. I think these are just essay quizzes. So you know nothing special here. It's just a standard essay question. So that's here's my answer, and obviously you can put all of the references in and all of that sort of stuff for the assessor. So let's assume I've done those, and I'll submit that quiz. And that's a case of ploughing through the quizzes. And when I get to the tasks, so, let me just make that all those. Whoops, sorry. Okay. When I log a task, this is what this looks like. So I say I've done this, and this. Make some notes on it. I might upload a photo or a video or a work order or whatever it is. Same deal as before, picking it out of a library and submit that. Okay, and that's the task component. So at this stage I've just uploaded some bits. So if I come back to the assessor. Okay, if we come under what's new again, we can see there's a whole pile of things that's been uploaded. Okay. So here I have the requirement. This is what the students sent through. I can click on that and open it. I can send it back to the student, or I can say okay, and they've done that bit. I'm happy with that. Whoop! What's it still trying to paginate? Come on, internet. Okay, so let's come back to here. All right, so we have so then we can go to the quiz. You can see we've got one in here to mark. So here is my answer. Okay, and a reference. Let's just say that's okay too. Satisfactory, complete, save. And under a task, we have an item there, and we can see what they've done. We don't have a supervisor connected in here at the moment, but we can see that they've done this for this amount of time. So I'm going to say I'm happy with that, and then we'll look at the outcome. Okay, so let's look at the results. So then as both the student and the assessor work through this, because everything is mapped behind the scenes back to units or multiple units, we can see that there's an approved self-assessment, there's a task that we're satisfied with, but no evidence yet and no quiz result for that unit, and so on and so forth. So lots of reds at the moment, but let's assume that we're a lot further down the track. We click this button, and all of the gaps pump out into an Excel sheet, which form the basis of a competency conversation, and that then should enable an outcome to be recorded for that student, and that's the end of the RPL process.
Mm-hmm.
So open you for questions. I'll stop the recording now, just and we can go into some questions.